Hello, this is Will and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is common interview questions. Now today is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be able to give you a lot of examples. Some of these questions I'm going to go over. They're going to be specific to you and your background. They're also going to be specific to your industry. So kind of be gauging what you should do. Now we've talked about this a little bit earlier. Look at some of these questions and write answers out. Go through things that you remember, go through different jobs. Don't only do the job that you're currently in because we have a resume that probably has between 5 to 10 jobs on it, somewhere in that area. So make sure that you can write these answers out for different jobs and not just your current job. Question number 1. Tell me about a time when. So these questions can be tricky. But most of the time, the question asks, tell me about a time when something was messed up and you turned it around. Or it's asking, what did you learn from this? Again, this is very industry specific, and this is definitely specific to your background and things that you have done. A tell me about a time when question could easily be something like this. Tell me about a time when you were up against a deadline and it looked like you weren't going to make it. Your answer is going to be extremely thought out, and these are times like you should take a break. You should say, give me a second and think. Now, your answer should have so much detail that I should not have to ask any follow-up questions. The job, the project, who was working with you, or if it was a solo project, if you can remember year and date, not actual date, but year and month, things like that, when you got it, when it was due, what steps you took to get it done, or what steps you would do now because you didn't get it done in a timely manner. Take your time, as much detail as possible. These next 2 questions are definitely going to be focused on you. It's going to say, tell me about your strengths and tell me about your weaknesses. You have to have just as many weaknesses as strengths. You do not want to come off as, oh, I'm the perfect candidate. I don't need help doing anything. As a recruiter, we know you're lying. Number 2, once you come into the organization, we're going to say, oh, you didn't need any help. Sometimes now, a lot of the time, your interviews are now taped. So now we can go back and say, didn't you say that you had this? Didn't you say you knew how to do this fluently? We pay attention to everything. So does the company. Have at least 3 strengths and at least 3 weaknesses. Try to pick strengths that make you look good in the job. Look at the job description. If it says analytical skills, talk about analytical skills being one of your strengths. Definitely look at the job description, basic versus preferred, and put as many of the preferred qualities that they want in your strengths. Weaknesses, be completely honest. For instance, mine, I am terrible at emails. Terrible. So that's something I've definitely been working on. But I bring it up in interviews and they laugh. But you definitely have to have just as many weaknesses as you have strengths. Number 4, this is a very important one. And this gets asked about 80% of the time. What could you bring to the table if you're hired here? Or what could you bring to this organization if hired? This, I definitely want you to practice this answer, and I want you to match it to the job description. They're looking for specific things, and those things are in the job description. If it is a sales position, when they say these specific metrics, I have hit these metrics in this, and this job. You must look at the job description to answer this question. If you're over the phone, have the job description in front of you, tablet, phone, or computer, or print it out. But I definitely want you to have this practiced before you get on a Zoom or before you're face-to-face. Let's go over the 4 questions again. Tell me about a time when. Again, so much detail, I do not have any follow-up questions. 2, tell me about your strengths. 3, tell me about your weaknesses. 4, a variation of, if hired, what could you bring to this organization? Now, please look at some of my other videos, because there's other 3 questions that you'll be asked every interview. Tell me about yourself. What do you know about this company? And do you have any questions for us? Look at those videos also. Again, this is Will. Thank you for coming to my channel again. Me and Latoya from Global Placement Services that you have seen on my page, we're going to start doing some lives coming up here soon. We'll be using StreamYard, but you'll know in advance before we start using it. If you have any questions, please look at the link in my bio. And as we're getting closer to going live with Latoya from Global Placement Services, please put your questions below. Thank you. See you next time.